Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Staffordshire. Welcome to the Bet365 Stadium. Norwich City taking on Stoke here this afternoon in the Championship. Crucial weekend for Norwich City. Obviously, those teams around them, Hull and Coventry, most notably, are not in Championship action this weekend. So an opportunity to build a 3-point cushion to Hull and a 4-point cushion to Coventry with victory here. I'm Connor Southwell, joined by a distracted Paddy Davitt, who's watching Coventry's FA Cup quarter final, and it's well, it's a good job we didn't start recording a couple of minutes ago, Pat.
I think we've been taken off air, Connor. Yeah, no, and it's going to probably get worse now. My natural pessimism will kick in. Just in sight of the semi-finals in Wembley, and calamitous goal, 1-1, and enough time for Wolves to get a winner. But anyway, part that, We're here for Stoke and Norwich, obviously. Yes,
indeed, and that's why you're all here. We can tell you that David Wagner is here. We have seen him. Obviously, he wasn't involved in Norwich City's build-up in the second half of the week, away on some personal issues, but is here today. And actually, I've got a monitor just here that is frozen on a picture of David Wagner, so he is definitely here. Interestingly, as well, we've seen young defender Waylon Reneka. He has also travelled. He's been kind of on the pitch and looking around. Obviously, he has played left back for the 21s this season. So with Dimi Yanulis out until mid-April, I suspect he's been brought here as some sort of cover for him. Whether we see him in terms of the match day squad, we shall see. There's a lot of people commenting on obviously Johnny Howson's removal from our video. Poor Johnny. I still think it's very harsh, but there we go. Such is life, and we should be able to bring you the team news in about 10 seconds or so. It's going to be really interesting to see which way David Wagner goes in terms of his centre-backs. Does he stick with Gabriel Sarrat in that right position? Although, as we saw last week, he was heavily inverted, became more central. And obviously, does he keep Ashley Barnes in the 10? Does he switch it up? We shall see. Norwich, in fact, I can tell you now, Norwich City are unchanged, I believe. Gun in goal, Stacey, Sorensen, Gibson, and McCallum as the back four. Nunez and Kenny McLean as the midfield two. Sarah and Saints on either flank, with Barnes behind Josh Sargent. I'll read that again for you. Gunning goals, Stacey, Sorensen, Gibson, McCallum, Nunez and McLean. Sarah and Saints, Barnes and Sargent. And the subs bench, George Long, Callum Fisher, Reneka does make the bench. Danny Bart, Christian Fashnakt, Liam Gibbs, Finley Welsh, Kennebo and Sydney Van Hooijdonk. Very young Norwich City bench. Fisher, Reneka, Gibbs, Welsh, Abo. Very, very young bench indeed. And Paddy, I guess given what we saw last week and Christoph Buller's comments yesterday, basically saying what more did you want from that Rotherham performance? Probably a slight inevitability about Norwich City being unchanged today.
Yeah, no, good signs. Sarah, obviously.
I've just seen what's flashed up on the top of your screen, by the way. I didn't want to alert you to it, but
told you there was plenty of time, wasn't I? Told you. There we go. I'm going home now, Connor. This day is going to go and end one way now after that. But back to the more important matter. If Sarah now can kick on from where he left off last weekend in that slightly unaccustomed role, but one he looked very comfortable in. I love that sort of tandem with Jack Stacey. So, Dimi Yanulis is what it is. He's not going to be back anytime soon, and may struggle to get back for the end of the season. So another opportunity for McCallum. We were debating in the car, maybe could Fashnakt come in, and that might mean Nunez coming out, but I'm glad to see Nunez is in there as well, because I think that will give him a little bit more control. And then obviously looking to the main man, Josh Sargent. If he can continue in the form he is, then I saw a stat. I think these, as bad as Norwich have been in terms of, to take Mueller's point, over the entirety of the away form this season, they're at 18th or 19th in the form table, aren't they? I think these, and I know they've changed manager, but these are 18th or 19th in the home form. So, I know Steven Schumacher's come in and he's had a bit of an upturn, but it's very hard in the period of time he's had to work with these group of players to completely turn it around. So for me, said it's Norwich official before the game, before we came upstairs actually, of the remaining away games, this is the one today. I think this is the one where they have to front foot, put a stamp on it, see off a pretty average Stoke side, and then, hopefully that'll roll on to some good results in the remaining away games. But this is where it has to start today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As the team sheets come over the laptop. Excellent, thank you. And Paddy, what do you make of the bench? Because I guess there's plenty of talking points there. Reneka on it as we maybe preview before the team news coming out. Gibbs, Welsh, Chabot, suddenly from maybe a place where these young players were not getting into the first team squad. Now they are, and I guess a part of that is obviously circumstantial because of the injury list that Norwich City have at this moment in time. And also probably the pruning of the squad in January. But it is good to see some more younger faces in and around this Norwich City group now, but maybe does show just a little bit how fragile this squad is at this moment in time, particularly that starting 11.
Nice. I mean, yeah, but the bench is where it's graphically illustrated. It's completely tipped
No Hanley
the other way
as well, by the way.
No, exactly, yeah. Which must place a question mark over his international involvement with Scotland. I mean, you were at the press, you were there yesterday. There was no mention of Hanley, no. So time will tell. We'll get an update from David on that one. But that bench, the slight concern, while yes, it is refreshing to see all that young talent there, and of course they'll be fearless if they were introduced like Welch, like Abbo have been in the last 2 championship games. But if the 11 on the park aren't really doing it, is there guaranteed game changers there? No, for me. But Van Hooijdonk we haven't seen enough of really yet, and when we have seen him, he hasn't really convinced that in this David Wagner template he is the player who could make the difference. But who knows? Today could be a different story. But that is a very young bench, and it does sell a lot, to this idea that Wagner wasn't really having lots of young players. But then the counterpoint is, and Hanley's the latest, when you're without so many experienced players, you've really got to turn to your youth. And wouldn't it be a great story if a Van Hooijdonk and Abbo came in today and affected it in a positive way, and then we're all talking about, great, the future's bright sort of thing, so at least in the short term. But it does feel, looking at that match day squad, it's going to be the 11 on the pitch who start the game, who are probably going to have to dictate how this game plays out for Norwich.
Yeah, indeed, and worth saying on Reneka as well, can also play as a centre-back, so pretty versatile in that sense, although you'd imagine in terms of the centre-back conversation, Danny Bart would come into that conversation if Norwich City needed him to. And on that front, Jakob Sørensen retains his place, Paddy. I mean, really good performance last weekend. I think you have to put it in context of the opposition they were playing, who were as bad as anything in this league by a pretty long stretch, and you only have to look at the Championship table to confirm that, and we'll bring you the Stoke team momentarily. But there is obviously a tougher test awaiting him today, as the old adage goes. Can they do it on a cold Saturday afternoon in Stoke? And this is probably going to be a different test for him, isn't it? I mean, I was saying to Adam yesterday on the preview show that he looks to me, and compared his goal celebration pictures from last weekend to when he scored against Millwall last season, his arms look bigger, his shoulders look broader. It looks like there's been kind of an improvement to his physique there, and he has looked on occasion very capable at centre back. He's also had a few games that haven't quite worked out in the way that he would like. So it's going to be an interesting test for him today, and obviously he's playing for a new contract as well. Yeah, which on a personal level is huge for him. And you spoke to him after the game, and it was very clear there was no. Yeah, he was very candid. Yeah, but there was no sense that he wanted his time to be up at Norwich. It felt like just show me you want me, and I'll sign on the dotted line, because he must feel still, if you zoom out and look at his career in Norwich overall, he hasn't really periods where he's threatened to become an established first teamer in the 11. It's never happened. Injuries have played their part as well. And he's running out of time now. So, every opportunity he gets, and today's another one. And on that physical point, I thought that about Núñez, actually. If you look at some of the pictures of him last week. Sergio Gonçalves said that when he came on the podcast. Yeah. There was a frame Paul Chesterton had last week where he took that shot in the second half from outside the box. And, he looks very bulked up. So maybe that's across the board, that they've obviously invested in some protein. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Joined Donnell in the gym at Colney a bit more. So on him. These are big games now in a personal context as much as they are for Norwich, and. I have my doubts, really. I know there's plenty of people would like to see him get a new contract. I think the injury record, and it's not all of his own making, but... And his biggest strength is also his biggest weakness, isn't it, in terms of not having an actual position, which is very useful when you're short on options, but when you're full on options, it leaves him without a place, really. Yeah, and he wasn't recruited to be anything other than a midfield option, so by previous managers, granted, but him at centre-back is always, it feels like, filling in, rather than that's a position you could actually see him becoming a regular in this Norwich side, but needs must. Danny Bart again sits out, so it probably tells you where David Wagner thinks of Danny Bart as a centre back option. Yeah, also out of contract. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he won't be getting a new one. But you're right. There probably will be a different test thrown up by the Stoke team. It was Buehler saying yesterday that they feel like they're quite more direct, more willing to go, vertical, I think was the word. Which is probably a diplomatic way for saying they like to get it forward and build up a powerful central
attacking presence. And if that is the case, then it's a bit more of a physical test of both Gibson, because we all know that's not his natural suit, and Sorensen. Then we're going to see a different side to Jakob Sorensen today, because he might well have to show us that physicality and willingness to sort of win his personal duels.
Yes, and let's bring you that Stoke 11 if we can. I've just put Adam on the spot, so sorry about that, Adam. But here they go, and they've got 2 wins from 3, and that 3 they didn't win was away at Elland Road, when nobody's won there this season. Though definitely over the last 4 games, there's been some improvement. They line up with Iverson in goal, Rose, McNally, and Wilmot as a back 3. Hover Pearson is back today from suspension. Baker, who's a good player at this level, and Lyndon Gooch as their midfield 4. Josh Laurent and Junho Bay, who I think's been doing pretty well here as well, and Tyrese Campbell up front. That's a very sort of quick 11. And let me just front 3. Sorry, and let me read you their bench. They have got Jack Bonham, Andre Vidigal, Niall Ennis, Jordan Thompson, also back from suspension today, Ryan Mamey, Said Haskavanovic, Luke Cundle, Mehdi Larice, and Milian Manhoff as well. And that's how they line up. They, of course, are deep. Well, they're hoping and looking for a run of results, which they're kind of doing at this moment in time. There's some people taunting you in the comments. It's not very kind, is it? They're obviously hoping for a run of form to try and ease their relegation fears.
Sorry, mate, got across it. That contract point I've just had a check. 25 Grant Hanley, no option.
So final year in the summer. And there's a few in that bracket, isn't it, as well next summer. So yeah, be interesting to see if there's any movement with him this summer.
Tell Adam to stop knocking them comments through, will he? Otherwise, he might find he's walking home.
You should have heard him before the record button was pressed. It was some colourful language being used by my colleagues. The game's not finished yet, though, is it? So
it's finished, Con. It's finished. Don't worry.
Okay.
In metaphorical sense, if not literal.
Gabriel, and again, we spoke about Sorensen and Gabriel Sara on the right, and we saw last weekend that he wasn't really a right winger in that sense. Certainly, well, Cobb have just scored.
Scored. Come on.
There we go. Is that Ellis Sims again?
Yeah. It's in there, UBUT. Get some comments on there, my man. Get in.
He's perked up now.
I'm off to the pub now. You boys can deal it from here.
You don't care about Gabby Sara now, do you?
Gabby who? Yeah. No. Focus, professional. Forget that.
Yeah. So he played on the right last weekend. He's in there today. We saw him. He was heavily inverted last weekend. Can he have as much license to do that? I guess he's helped out by Jack Stacey's athleticism and ability to get up and down as he has done in recent weeks. That probably does ease the pressure. But equally, as we said, against society, and we put the graphic up there. They do have pace. They do have directness. They're going to be looking to get him behind. He's going to have to be a little bit more positionally disciplined, isn't he, today?
Gabby Sara,
you're watching the goal again, weren't you?
Watching the goal. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's very hard to draw any meaningful sort of trends from what we saw last week, because anybody who was there, anybody seen the highlights, they were Rotherham were woeful. They didn't really test Norwich as a defensive unit. These are coming off the back, didn't they? Win at Preston last week. I think beaten in 3 or 4.
2 wins in 3.
Yeah. So, and they're only at kickoff, I think 3 points out of the bottom 3. So as tight as it is down there, for all those reasons,
they've got a better squad than that league.
And that as well. Yeah. I mean, I'm flabbergasted that this group of players, having seen them at Carrow Road earlier in the season, I know that was Alex Neil.
Well, this time last year we came here, and I know they've scored heavily, but you put good money on them to be challenging that this season.
And then they brought in 13 new players in the summer, so it's a bit of a mystery looking at it from a distance. But there's absolutely no doubt that point there about Zara, that point about Sorensen earlier. Norwich will get tested today out of possession, and he will have to be a little bit more disciplined. And I don't know whether that was. I think Cov might have scored, by the way, Paddy, but we'll see. There's a lad down there who's a Cov fan who's just raised 2 arms, but we'll come to that in a second. He might be cheering the final whistle, I don't know. But carry on. Probably is, replay. But there was a point David made about Gabby Zara last week. As good as he was, he said there was 1 or 2 areas of his game in that position where he needed to,
Fourth goal, the comment says.
Until I see it on this screen, I'm not going to believe it. Thanks, Tom, but I don't. This
surely not.
I don't. Lost my train of thought now. 3-2.
You keep talking. I'll watch it for you.
Oh my God! Right, I'm definitely on. I'm off to the beers now. Boys, you can carry it from here.
It is 3-2. 3-2.
Wow.
It's a short hop back to the Rico, isn't it? You can go and.
It's the magic of the FA Cup, isn't it? Like on a serious point, this is probably good for Norwich. I've seen a comment now. You'd rather a Cov win because they're now going to have potentially a semi-final at Wembley.
You off to Wembley?
Just waiting to see the goal, actually.
This is the most chaotic team
What a finish that is.
Who scored that? Had you right.
Didn't
get in the USA squad.
No, Josh Sargent preferred it in the US squad. But no, the point I thought was well made from David about Gabby Zara.
Paddy's gone to pieces.
Yeah, I know. It's totally unprofessional, this, isn't it? But he will get tested, I think, today without the ball. And that's a fair point you make because, McLean. Well, I have gone.
You're gone to pieces.
Jack Stacey's natural inclination is to bomb on. So if you're playing against a team who will exploit Norwich if they leave any gaps, I think it is important, that they work as a tandem unit defensively. Move on.
I think that we'll end with your prediction, and then we'll let you go and do some laps of the Bet365.
My prediction is I'll be having a few jars tonight, Connor. when we get back home.
Score prediction for this game.
1-2. Norwich. How can this day not end positively for Norwich now after today's?
You've gone 360 here from the start of this bro.
1-2. Norwich 3 points clear in the top 6 tonight. Mark Robbins, what a legend. Yeah, 1-2. You, Connor?
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, I think. I think this is going to be tight. Stoke better than their league position suggests, improving under Stephen Schumacher, so I'm going to go 1 goal apiece. But I agree. This game is massive, and we'll close on this point. This game is massive for Norwich City today. As we say, Cov in FA Cup action. Hull not in action because they were due to be playing Coventry. Cardiff, they were in playoff contention. Basically, if Norwich can win today, they keep control of their own destiny. I just see the final whistle's gone at Molineux. You're off to Wembley, Paddy.
Well, that's to be too hasty yet, Connor. There's an event in my house that might dictate that I'm not allowed to go anywhere, but in terms of a new arrival. So we'll say, just my luck, it'll coincide with Cov at Wembley, but there you go. My wife's not watching this, otherwise I won't be allowed back in the house later on. But yeah, what was the question, Connor?
Well, I was just making the case of how big it is today because of those teams that aren't in action, Cov being one of them, of course.
Yeah, it's huge, yeah. Well, and who were 8th, I think, at kick-off, and Hull, who were 7th, were due to play Cov today, so no Hull in action. Yeah, you win today, you're 3 points clear of Hull, and you've got 2 weeks, and I think that psychologically at this stage is massive. You know, that Hull and Coventry, and albeit Coventry be hugely buoyed by the events at Molineux, but Preston, Sunderland, even Middlesbrough now, they've gone 3 wins on the spin, haven't they? So all those teams will have to sit and think about it for 2 whole weeks, and if you're Norwich, you can't wait then for Plymouth, isn't it? Good Friday on the other side, and then a Leicester, and then a small matter of a team in blue. So it really opens it up for me. And let's be honest, Norwich win today, and they go home 3 points clear. They're in the box seat.
Yeah, looks good. And that last point is the comment that matters really, because it is they are in the box seat. Anything other than a victory here today, they essentially hand back control to Hull or Coventry. And I think we'll leave it there, and we'll let Paddy go and do a knee slide somewhere, Jose Mourinho style, off the back of that. Quite a result for Coventry, and as Spanish Canary said somewhere up there, let's hope that that's Coventry's only visit to Wembley this season, and that they don't place Norwich City in the Championship.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is what I'll be doing. Unfortunately, but there you go.
Well, such is life. Such is life.
That's what I tell you for.
Well, it might be good because you're at the playoff final and they lost that. So yeah, there we go. Ever the professional there. I can only apologise to the 850 people who are watching this live who have had to witness that chaos. But yeah, I'll just read you the Norwich City team. Norwich City are playing today. Angus Gunn in goal. Stacey, Gibson, Sorensen, and McCallum as the back 4. McLean and Nunez as the midfield 2. Sarah and Sainz out wide. Ashley Barnes behind Josh Sargent. The subs bench: Long, Gibbs, Van Hooijdonk, Fashnat, Bart, Fisher, and then a trio of young players in Finley Welsh, Kennebo, and Waylon Reneka. Let's hope Norwich City can end their away day struggles today here at the Bet365 Stadium. Pinkin.com, the place to go. Thanks for watching. See you soon.